No, it started with a dull ache in my chest. Kind of like pressure, you know? Nothing too serious, I thought. I thought it might be gas. I don't know. Maybe I ate something that didn't sit well. I had some Boldo tea, lay down for a bit, waiting for it to pass. But the pain lingered there, insistent, as if someone was squeezing my chest tightly. I started feeling tingling in my left arm, a weird, half-numb, half-prickling sensation. It must be poor circulation, I thought, trying to convince myself that it was all normal. I did some stretching, moved my arm, but nothing relieved it. The chest pain started to radiate to my neck and jaw. That's when it got ugly. I started sweating cold, a horrible feeling of nausea, and I felt dizzy. You know that feeling like the world is spinning? That's when it hit me. I realized it wasn't just passing. It wasn't just a discomfort. It was different from anything I had ever felt before. I looked in the mirror and saw my pale, sweaty face. It was at that moment, looking at my reflection, that I understood. I needed help, and I needed it now. I'm Scarlett. I'm 52 years old, and until recently, my life was normal. I worked, took care of the house, went out with friends, walked the dog. A quiet routine, without great excitement. I thought everything was under control. But the truth is that life has these surprises, these unexpected twists that we never anticipate. And mine came in the form of a massive heart attack. Today I'm here sharing this story, not to seek attention, but because I believe it can serve as a warning to others. Because honestly, if I had listened to the signs my body was giving me, maybe I could have avoided going through all this. I was negligent. I ignored the warnings. I thought I was strong and that nothing serious could happen to me. Big mistake. I want to be honest. I took a long time to seek help. I was afraid, ashamed, maybe even a bit proud. I thought it was an exaggeration, that I was making things up. Typical, right? We always think we know better than the doctor, that our body is invincible, but the body is not invincible, and we need to learn to listen to it. Therefore, I decided to tell my story, so that other women, other men, do not make the same mistake as I did, so that they learn to recognize the signs, not to ignore the pains, to seek medical help as soon as possible. If my experience can save a life, it will have been worth it. I want to turn this difficult moment into something positive, into a tool of awareness and prevention, because the heart, believe me, does not give warnings. At first, it was just a discomfort, you know? That feeling of heaviness in the chest after a tiring day at work. Oh, it's stress, I thought. We always have an excuse ready, right? Modern life swallows us up, we run against time, and end up putting health on the back burner. I justified the pain with the rush of the daily routine, with the concerns of adult life. It's age catching up, I told myself, as if that explained everything. In addition to the heaviness in my chest, sometimes I felt sharp twinges, quick stabs that would come and go. I thought it was muscular, maybe bad posture. I started using those ointments for muscle pain, you know? I applied them on my chest, back, hoping it would solve it. It eased a bit at the moment, but the pain always came back. On other occasions, when the pain was stronger, I would take a common painkiller, like paracetamol or ibuprofen. It worked for a few hours, allowing me to continue with my activities. But it was just a palliative, a patch. I was masking the symptoms without treating the cause. And the worst part, without worrying about seeing a doctor. The truth is, I was terrified of hospitals, of exams. I preferred to believe it was all temporary, that it would go away on its own. Moreover, the lack of time was a constant in my life. I worked full-time, had a house to take care of, social commitments. Finding time in my schedule to go to the doctor seemed like an impossible mission. I always postponed it, promising myself I would make an appointment next week, and next week never came. I was also somewhat afraid of the diagnosis, afraid of finding out that I had something serious, of having to change my routine, of having to face a treatment. It is easier to deceive oneself, pretend that everything is fine, than to face reality. But this illusion comes at a high price, and I paid that price almost with my life. Negligence cost me dearly, and I learned in the worst possible way that health is our most precious asset, and that, unfortunately, we often only value it when we lose it. The pains began to intensify gradually, almost imperceptibly at first. At work, I noticed that I would tire more easily. My concentration was no longer the same, and tasks that I used to perform with ease became a burden. Climbing the stairs at the office was torture. I lacked breath, and my chest felt tight. I started to avoid meetings that required long presentations, afraid of having a sudden illness in front of my colleagues. I made up excuses, saying I had a headache, that I wasn't feeling well. My productivity drastically decreased, and I started to feel insecure about my professional performance. In relationships, the impact was also significant. Outings with friends became rarer. The energy to go to a bar or the cinema simply did not exist. I started to isolate myself, to close myself off. When friends invited me to an event, I would make up any excuse saying I was busy, that I had an urgent commitment. The truth is that I was afraid of feeling unwell in public, of causing trouble for them. I preferred to stay at home, alone, dealing with my pain in silence. Leisure activities, which used to bring me so much joy, became impossible. Walks in the park, yoga classes, gardening, all of that was left behind. The simple task of going to the supermarket became a challenge. I needed to stop several times on the way to rest. My body couldn't take it. I started to rely more and more on others to do things, which left me extremely frustrated. Nights became torture. The pain in in my chest prevented me from sleeping. The sleep was restless and interrupted. I would wake up several times during the night, suffocated, with the feeling that I was dying. I spent hours awake, thinking of the worst, imagining terrible scenarios. Physical and mental exhaustion accumulated, leaving me exhausted and irritable. Frustration and despair overwhelmed me with each passing day. I felt like my body was betraying me, failing me. The powerlessness in the face of pain was overwhelming. I felt trapped in an invisible prison, unsure of how to escape. I tried to hide the situation from those around me, afraid of worrying them, of being judged, of being seen as weak. But it became increasingly difficult to disguise. The dark circles under my eyes, the paleness, the constant fatigue. Everything betrayed that something was wrong. My attempts at deception were becoming more and more pathetic, and the fear of being discovered only increased my suffering. Loneliness at that moment was my worst companion. Shame prevented me from seeking help, from opening up to someone. I was stuck in a vicious cycle of pain, fear, and isolation. The day I finally decided to seek medical help began like any other, except that the chest pain was even more intense, almost unbearable. I got out of bed with difficulty, feeling a heavy burden on my shoulders, not just physical, but also emotional. The simple act of having coffee left me exhausted, heart racing, as if I had run a marathon. I looked in the mirror and saw an image that frightened me, a pale face, deep dark circles, an empty and lost gaze. It was at that moment that I realized that I could not postpone it any longer, that I needed to face the situation head-on. With shaky legs, I called my health plan and scheduled an emergency appointment with a cardiologist. The attendant, sensing my distressed tone of voice, managed to fit me in for the same day. I waited anxiously for the appointment time. Every minute seemed like an eternity. During the wait, I tried to distract myself with a book, but the words made no sense. My mind wandered in dark thoughts. I arrived at the doctor's office with my heart in my mouth, breathing heavily. I was promptly seen and directed to the doctor's office. The cardiologist, a silver-haired gentleman with a calm and welcoming look, examined me carefully, asked about my health history, my habits, the symptoms I had been feeling. I recounted everything, from the first chest pains to the extreme fatigue, shortness of breath, and isolation. After the clinical examination, the doctor requested a battery of tests: electrocardiogram, echocardiogram, blood test. I left the office dazed, with a sheet full of requisitions and a whirlwind of feelings. I did the exams as quickly as possible, trying to remain calm, but anguish consumed me from within. The following days were pure anguish. The wait for the results seemed endless. I couldn't eat, sleep, concentrate on anything. I relived every moment of the past months, blaming myself for neglecting my health, for ignoring the signs from my body. Finally, the day to pick up the results arrived. I went to the lab with trembling hands, a racing heart. I opened the envelope carefully as if opening Pandora's box. I read the reports attentively, but the technical words didn't make sense to me. I needed the doctor's interpretation. I returned to the cardiologist's office with the test results. He analyzed them meticulously, with a serious expression on his face. After a few minutes of silence, the doctor looked me in the eyes and said, "Scarlett, you had a massive heart attack." The world seemed to collapse over my head. The doctor's words echoed in my ears like thunder. Massive heart attack. The gravity of the situation hit me like a shock. I felt a chill down my spine, a lump in my throat, a sense of emptiness. Tears began to roll down my face uncontrollably. Fear, disbelief, despair, an avalanche of emotions overwhelmed me. Questions arose in my mind. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? What will become of me now? How will I deal with this illness? The doctor tried to calm me down, explained the seriousness of the situation, but also gave me hope. He said the heart attack had left sequelae, but with proper treatment, I could lead a normal life. He spoke about the importance of cardiac rehabilitation, changing habits, adopting a healthier lifestyle. I left the doctor's office dazed, with the diagnosis in my hands and a whirlwind of emotions. From that moment on, my life would change forever. I would have to face a new reality, live with a chronic illness, fight for my health. But I was not alone. I had my family, my friends, and a medical team willing to help me. The journey would be long and difficult, but I was determined to overcome it. I needed to learn to live with a broken heart, but with renewed hope. Treatment began immediately after the diagnosis. I remember the amount of pills I was prescribed, each with a specific function: control blood pressure, reduce cholesterol, prevent blood clots. Swallowing that medication soup every morning and night became a routine, a constant reminder of my condition. The side effects soon appeared: nausea, dizziness, extreme fatigue, muscle pain. Every day was a battle to stay active. There were moments when the pain was so intense that it forced me to lie down, unable to do anything. Hospitalizations became frequent, some to adjust medication, others to perform tests and monitor the progression of the condition. During one of these hospitalizations, I had to undergo angioplasty, a procedure to unblock a heart artery. The fear of surgery was paralyzing demoralizing, but the hope of a better life gave me the strength to keep going. The recovery from angioplasty was slow and painful. I felt extreme fatigue. Any effort left me breathless. The limitations imposed by the disease deeply frustrated me. I could no longer do the things I loved, like walking in the park, dancing, traveling. My life was reduced to taking medication, resting, and going to the doctor. In addition to the physical effects, the disease also affected my self-esteem. Hair loss, a side effect of one of the medications, devastated me. I felt like I was losing my femininity, my identity. The changes in my body, the swelling, the weight gain, made me increasingly insecure. There were moments of deep discouragement, of hopelessness. I questioned the meaning of life, felt unfairly treated. I thought I would never be happy again, that the disease had stolen everything good I had. I even isolated myself from people, surrendering to sadness. But even in the toughest moments, I was never completely alone. My family, my friends, the medical team were always by my side, giving me support, care, and strength. Their love and understanding were crucial for me to overcome the obstacles and move forward. My mother especially was an angel in my life. She moved into my house to take care of me, help me with household chores, accompany me to medical appointments. Her unconditional love gave me the strength to fight the disease. My friends were also amazing. They visited me frequently, took me out for walks, made me laugh. Their presence reminded me that I was not alone, that I still had reasons to be happy. The medical team, the doctors, the nurses, the physiotherapists treated me professionally and humanely. They explained everything to me about the illness, about the treatment, about the care I needed to take. Their knowledge and dedication gave me confidence and hope. Gradually, I learned to live with the illness, to adapt my life to the new limitations. I started doing light physical exercises, eating healthier, and engaging in activities that brought me joy. I discovered that, even with the illness, it was still possible to have a happy and meaningful life. The support of family, friends, and the medical team was essential in this journey of recovery. I learned to appreciate each moment, to be grateful for the little things, to live one day at a time. It is important to understand the difference between terminal illness and palliative care. Often, people associate palliative care with the end of life, as if it were a sentence. But it's not quite like that. Terminal illness refers to an irreversible condition, where life expectancy is limited to weeks or months. Palliative care, on the other hand, is a type of assistance that aims to improve the quality of life for patients with serious illnesses, regardless of the disease stage or life expectancy. Palliative care can be offered alongside other treatments, such as chemotherapy or radiotherapy, or even when a cure is no longer possible. The main goal is to alleviate pain and other physical symptoms, such as shortness of breath, nausea, fatigue, insomnia, and loss of appetite. But palliative care goes beyond the control of physical symptoms. It also addresses the emotional, social, and spiritual needs of the patient and their family. Being in palliative care means having access to a multidisciplinary team composed of doctors, nurses, psychologists, social workers, and other professionals who work together to offer individualized and humanized treatment. This team can help the patient and their family deal with fear, anxiety, depression, grief, and other emotional issues. Additionally, palliative care may also include social support, such as financial assistance, legal guidance, and access to support groups. My experience with palliative care was crucial in helping me face the illness with more serenity and dignity. From the beginning, the multidisciplinary team welcomed me with great care and attention. The doctors explained my clinical condition, treatment options, and possible side effects in detail. The nurses were tireless in managing pain and other symptoms, providing me with comfort and relief. The psychologist helped me cope with my emotions, accept my condition, and find meaning in life, even in the face of illness. In addition to conventional treatments, I also tried some alternative therapies, such as meditation, yoga, and acupuncture. Meditation helped calm my mind, reduce stress and anxiety. Yoga provided relaxation, flexibility, and physical strength. Acupuncture relieved my pain and improved my sleep. These complementary therapies were an important complement to medical treatment, helping me manage symptoms and improve my quality of life. I believe that palliative care is a right for every patient with a serious illness. They offer a holistic approach that considers the patient as a whole human being with physical, emotional, social, and spiritual needs. Palliative care is not the end of the line, but a way to provide comfort, dignity, and quality of life to patients and their families in all stages of illness. It's about living intensely, even in the face of finitude, and finding joy and meaning in small moments. Life, this box of surprises, decided to play another trick on me. Just when I thought everything was under control, that I had learned to dance to the music, the illness decided to come back. The relapse, a word that hits like a punch to the stomach, a bucket of cold water, a recurring nightmare. The feeling that everything has started over is overwhelming, as if I were back to square one, with the same anguish, fear, and uncertainty. Frustration is gigantic. After so much fighting, so much effort, so much belief that I had won the battle, having to face it all over again is cruel. It's like climbing a steep mountain, and when you're almost reaching the top, an avalanche drags you back down to the valley. The new symptoms arrived stealthily, like thieves in the dead of night. An inexplicable fatigue that wouldn't go away even with rest. Persistent headaches that wouldn't yield to painkillers. A dry cough that left me breathless. At first I tried to ignore it, thinking it was just a cold, a side effect of the medication, but the symptoms intensified until they became impossible to ignore. The tests came to confirm what I feared. The disease had returned, and this time, more aggressively. The metastasis diagnosis was like a sentence. The word echoed in my mind, heavy with weight and meaning. The disease had spread to other organs, making the treatment more complex and challenging. The fear of death, which I thought I had overcome, resurfaced with full force. The fragility of life became even more evident. The uncertainty of the future haunted me every instant. I cried. I raged. I rebelled against destiny. But deep down, I knew I needed to accept the new reality, however painful it was. Acceptance didn't come suddenly, like a magic trick. It was a slow and gradual process that required a lot of patience, compassion, and self-knowledge. I started seeking psychological support to help me deal with my emotions, overcome my fears, and find the strength to move forward. The therapy sessions provided me with a safe space to express my feelings, to vent my anxieties, and to redefine my experience. Faith has also been an important pillar at this time. Believing in something greater, in a higher power, brings me comfort and hope. Prayer connects me with the divine, calms my soul, and renews my energies. I try to focus on living in the present, on enjoying each day as if it were the last. I have learned to value the little things, the simple moments, the smiles, the hugs, the beauty of nature. I allow myself to feel joy, even in the midst of pain. I seek out activities that bring me pleasure, like reading, listening to music, painting, cooking. I have rearranged my priorities, disconnected from things that did not serve me well, and drawn closer to people who love and support me. The love of my family, my friends, has been crucial for me to face this new journey with more lightness and hope. I have decided to share my story, to inspire others going through tough times, to show that it is possible to find strength and beauty even in the midst of pain, to remind everyone that life is a precious gift and deserves to be lived intensely until the last breath. I believe that my experience can be useful to others, so that they feel less alone, so that they know they are not alone. I believe the greatest lesson the illness taught me was the importance of living in the present. Before, I lived in the future, always worried about what was to come, about what could happen. I planned every detail of my life, made endless to-do lists, and criticized myself endlessly. I forgot to enjoy the now, to appreciate the little things, to allow myself to be happy. The illness forced me to slow down, to reconnect with myself, to value each moment. I learned to savor a cup of hot tea on a cold afternoon, to watch the sunset in admiration, to smell the earth after the rain. I discovered that happiness is not in big achievements or extraordinary events, but in the simple things of daily life. A tight hug, a sincere smile, a conversation with a dear friend, a song that touches my soul, a book that transports me to another world. One of my favorite activities is spending time in nature. I love walking in the park, watching the birds, feeling the wind on my face, admiring the beauty of the flowers. Nature calms me, renews my energies, and connects me with something greater. I also enjoy gardening, taking care of my plants, watching the seeds sprout, the flowers bloom. It is a therapeutic activity that teaches me about patience, perseverance, and the beauty of life cycles. Another thing that brings me a lot of joy is cooking. I love trying out new recipes, preparing tasty dishes, and sharing with the people I love. Cooking is a way to express my affection, to nourish the body and soul. Making a cake for a birthday, a special dinner for my husband, a lunch for my friends, are moments that fill me with happiness. Illness has also taught me to value relationships. Before, I used to worry a lot about work, about professional success, and ended up neglecting my relationships. Illness showed me that the people we love are our greatest treasure. I learned to express my feelings, to say I love you more often, to show my affection and gratitude. I strive to be present in the important moments of the lives of the people I love, to celebrate achievements, to support in difficult times, to offer a friendly shoulder. I learned to listen carefully, to be more empathetic, to put myself in the shoes of others. I discovered that happiness is only complete when shared. Gratitude has become a mantra in my life. I am thankful every day for the good things I have, for my family, for my friends, for my health, even with limitations, for the shining sun, for the falling rain, for the air I breathe. I am even grateful for difficulties because they teach me, strengthen me, and make me grow. I have set aside unnecessary worries, things that are not under my control. I stopped caring about others' opinions, about seeking perfection, about comparing myself to others. I have learned to accept myself as I am, with my qualities and my flaws, with my strengths and my weaknesses. I have discovered that life is too short to be wasted on things that do not matter. I prioritize what truly matters: my health, my relationships, my inner peace. I seek to live a purposeful life, to do what makes me happy, to contribute to a better world. I want to leave a legacy of love, kindness, and hope. I want people to remember me as someone who loved intensely, who lived with courage, and who inspired others to be happy. Illness has changed my life, but it has also made me a better person. I am stronger, more resilient, resilient, more grateful, more compassionate, and happier. And I am grateful for every day I have the opportunity to live. Life and death, two sides of the same coin. Before the illness, I saw death as something distant, abstract, something that only happened to others. I lived as if I were immortal, as if time were infinite. The illness confronted me with my own mortality, showed me that life is a breath, a precious gift that can be taken from us at any time. This awareness of mortality has made me value every moment, every opportunity, every encounter. I have learned not to leave anything for later, to say what I need to say, to do what I need to do, to love intensely, without fear of regret. Illness has taught me that death is not the end, but a passage, a transformation. I believe that there is something beyond earthly life, a spiritual dimension where we find peace and unconditional love. This belief comforts me and gives me hope, helps me face the fear of death with more serenity. I am no longer afraid of dying. I am afraid of not living intensely, of not seizing every moment, of not leaving a positive legacy. The experience of illness has profoundly transformed me. I have become stronger, more resilient, more compassionate. I have learned to deal with pain, suffering, uncertainty. I have discovered an inner strength that I did not know I possessed. Illness has taught me that I am capable of overcoming the greatest challenges, of reinventing myself, of finding beauty even in the midst of adversity. Resilience has become one of my greatest qualities. I have learned to adapt to changes, to deal with limitations, to find creative solutions to problems. Illness has taught me that I cannot control everything, but I can control my reaction to situations. I can choose to be positive, optimistic, grateful, even when things do not go as planned. Compassion has become a fundamental value in my life. Illness has made me more sensitive to the suffering of others, more willing to help, to offer support, to share my experience. I have learned to listen attentively, to be more empathetic, to put myself in other people's shoes. I have discovered that the greatest joy lies in serving, in making a difference in people's lives. The legacy I want to leave is a legacy of love, kindness, and hope. I want people to remember me as someone who loved intensely, who lived courageously, and who inspired others to be happy. I want my story to serve as an example to show that it is possible to overcome the greatest challenges, to find meaning in life, even in the face of illness, to transform pain into learning and vulnerability into strength. I believe my mission is to inspire others to take care of their health, to prevent diseases, to adopt a healthier lifestyle. I want to raise awareness about the importance of prevention, early diagnosis, and proper treatment. I want to encourage people to have routine checkups, to see a doctor regularly, to follow medical advice. I want to show that health is our most precious asset and that we should take care of it with care and responsibility. I want to encourage people to live fully, to enjoy every moment, to value relationships, to pursue their dreams, to be happy. I want to show that life is a precious gift and deserves to be lived intensely until the last breath. I want to remind everyone that happiness is not found in great achievements or extraordinary events, but in the simple things of everyday life, in the small moments, in smiles, hugs, conversations, landscapes, scents, flavors. For those facing similar challenges, I want to leave a message of hope and encouragement. Do not give up. Believe in yourselves. Trust in your inner strength. Seek support from family, friends, the medical team. Do not isolate yourselves. Share your feelings. Express your emotions. Allow yourselves to cry, feel anger, fear, but do not give in to despair. Remember that you are not alone. There are many people who care for you, who want to help, who are willing to offer a friendly shoulder. Believe in healing, improvement, overcoming. Have faith, hope, perseverance. Life is a precious gift and deserves to be lived intensely, despite the challenges. Find joy in small moments, value relationships, seek activities that bring you pleasure, live with purpose, leave a legacy of love and kindness, and always remember, you are stronger than you think. So, if I could give you one piece of advice, it would be, listen to your body. It speaks, it warns, we just need to learn to listen to it. Do not ignore the pains, discomforts, warning signs. Do not be afraid to seek medical help, to undergo tests, to seek a diagnosis. Remember that prevention is always the best remedy, and that early diagnosis can make all the difference between life and death. Do not deceive yourselves. Do not delude yourselves. Do not postpone what is important. Health is our most precious possession, and we must take care of it with affection and responsibility. I know fear can paralyze, uncertainty can be frightening, but do not allow that to stop you from seeking help. Remember that you are not alone, that there are many people who care for you, who want to help, who are willing to offer a friendly shoulder. Do not isolate yourselves. Share your feelings, express your emotions, seek support from family, friends, the medical team. Believe in healing, improvement, overcoming. Have faith, hope, perseverance. Illness can be a challenge, but it can also be an opportunity for growth, transformation, learning. Do not be discouraged. Do not give in to despair. Find strength in faith, love, hope. Value each moment, each smile, each hug. Live intensely, with joy, with gratitude. Leave a legacy of love and kindness. Remember that life is a precious gift that deserves to be lived fully, until the last breath. And to finish, I want to express my love and gratitude to everyone who has been by my side on this journey. My family, my friends, the medical team, everyone was essential for me to overcome the obstacles and move forward. I thank each one of you for the affection, for the support, for the understanding, for the patience. You are my strength, my inspiration, my reason to keep fighting. I believe in the power of life, in the beauty of the human soul, in the importance of cherishing each moment. May my story serve as inspiration for you to live with more intensity, with more love, and with more gratitude.